How? Hey, it's Alec the Catholic. I'm here doing a not reaction video. This is a review video because if you haven't heard this song already or watched this music video, you're kind of behind, right? So this is Johnny Cash's version of "Hurt," originally a Nine Inch Nails song that I loved as a kid, teenager, listening to the radio. I would hear "Hurt" come on. I would just get so lost in that song by Nine Inch Nails. And to hear Johnny Cash cover it, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard Johnny Cash cover the song, it it did not impress me. And I was kind of like, he's ruining this song. It's a dark song. It's a sad song. What's Johnny Cash doing? It didn't really make any sense to me until I watched this music video. And when I found out that that he did this cover, he completed it not very long after his wife died, and not very long before he died. That kind of gives a whole new context to the song, right? I've learned a lot about this song, so I'm going to share with you what I've gathered over time. Uh, I think this is a song worth sharing, and that's why I'm going to do this review today. So let's get into this song. Okay, and one thing to note is the visual. So the music video itself, this music video and the song, like the song is a very good song. He did a good job covering the song, but this music video itself is when you put the two together, it just becomes this whole new. I think that the singer from Nine Inch Nails himself said that when he first heard the track, he didn't really understand it. When he saw the video, that's when everything came together, and he's really happy that Johnny did this. But the video does give you what it does is it shows you the motive behind why Johnny covered this song, why Cash, the Man in Black, covered this song. Pay attention to the visuals. Really pay attention. There's a lot in them. Uh, this is a eulogy. He's written his own eulogy.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain.
Just so you know, he's not dead yet when they made this music video, but there's a museum, House of Cash, that's a museum dedicated entirely to him, Johnny Cash. And he's not dead yet. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? But he's kind of showing you, in America, this is how revered I am. That's nuts.
The only thing that's real. The needle tears the hole. The old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away. But I remember.
It's even a closed museum. Like, it's not even open anymore. Like, but anyway, keep going.
Everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down.
These are shots from I'm assuming they're inside that museum. It's all run down. There's very little stuff. It's just like he's calling this his empire of dirt. Like, this is such a humbling song. This man was so humble, so humble. I'll share with you a little story that I have actually about him. A little later on.
I will make you hurt.
You stay the hell away from me, you hear?
I wear this crown of thorns.
Also, a little interesting note right there. That's the only lyric change that he did. In the original Nine Inch Nails version of the song, which is very dark, yeah, he calls it a crown of S word, crown of crap. um, Johnny changed the word to thorns. And I have a theory as to why, so we'll keep going.
Upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts, I cannot repair.
This, the way the kind of center stage they gave this house here, and the fact that Johnny's going through it and he's going to walk around it, gives me the impression that this was his childhood home. I don't know if there are good memories there. I don't know if there are bad memories there. Um, but the clips that they show of him walking around this house, like the very fact that there is footage of Johnny Cash, being reflective and contemplative, walking along the seashore, and like he's going through stuff, he's working things out within himself. The fact that they even have footage like that of him is insane. And this is crazy. He's by himself walking around this house, and he knows, he's familiar with it, but he's not going inside. It's interesting.
Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else. I am still.
It's lost in thought right there. Like that clip is just little things. Just this man was a very deep man. I have a lot of respect for this guy, and the humility of making this video and picking this song is just. And he changes the whole motive behind it just by doing this, and it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone
I don't know if that woman was his wife or his daughter. I really don't. She looks like the same woman right there. She really does. So it could be his daughter, could be his wife. I know that his wife passed away, either soon after making this or soon right before. So he's hurting right now too. So
I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt.
he's just staring at the camera like he's dead in the eyes. He's dead inside, and it's crazy. Now, here's something. It's just starting now. You're gonna notice as the song starts to climax and starts to end. Notice how many depictions of Jesus you see. Is Jesus right there in the bottom right corner next to all of his trophies. Like, you're gonna start seeing these contrasts pop up, and I'm just warning you because they happen fast. You're gonna see Jesus, and then you're gonna see him doing something crazy, and then Jesus, and then it's like Jesus versus his fame and his fortune, and all that came with being a rock star. Just watch.
I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
That clip right there, he's talking down to something, and he's angry, and then it cuts to Jesus' hands being nailed to the cross. For me, when I first saw this, immediately the first thing I saw is that Johnny Cash views himself as one of the people who crucified Jesus. Like, he seriously sees himself as a sinner who crucified Jesus or participated in the crucifixion of Jesus. Like, he hurt Jesus. And a lot of this song feels to me the sweetest friend, you can have it all. It feels a lot like this is more of a prayer for him than just a eulogy. And see how this thing climaxes here. You'll see more of Jesus and doves. And he's crying right there. Like, he really, just that little moment right there. He's like weeping. He's like sobbing. And he feels all this pain and shame and guilt, and it really is it's like one of the psalms, like a lamentation. If he turns this into like one of the lamentations of David, it's incredible.
If I could start again, a million.
Fame, fortune, Jesus getting nails drilled into his hands, like life, and then Jesus, and then life, and then Jesus.
Miles away, I would keep myself. I would find a way.
And then just introspective. So I like my theory, my story. I could tell you a little bit. I know that Johnny Cash, and I'm getting this theory is founded in some. I think I have some evidence to back it up for this argument. He has an entire album called "Songs from My Mother's Hymnal." That might not be the exact title of the album, but that's basically what it is. It's an entire album dedicated to these songs from a church book, a church song book. Like "Come to the River" and all kinds of like just early Christian, Protestant, and Baptist songs, like hymns and joyful hymns to the Lord. And so he plays them. He plays them in the way they were written, and he sings them. He has an entire album dedicated to that. Johnny Cash, though he didn't come out and like I don't know if he ever came out and professed himself as like a Christian, leading Christians. But he had at the very least a deep appreciation for Christianity, and he was such a humble guy, later in life. I know that he kind of led that wild rock star life a little bit here and there, but for the most part, everyone had a deep appreciation for him, and he had a deep appreciation for the things that were sacred. He has a song called "The Ragged Old Flag," where he talks about how proud he is of the American flag, and he tells the story, and it's probably one of the most patriotic, beautiful, standing poems, just spoken word poems I've ever heard in my life. And it's about the flag, and it makes you feel so freaking proud of this country. It really does. He captures the spirit of America so well, Johnny does. And I think here, at the end of his life, he's reflecting on everything he had and all the things he did, his empire of dirt, and he's looking back on it all like it was dirt, like none of it really mattered, and it's being juxtaposed against these images of Jesus being crucified. He's got pain, and that's just that moment of like he's looking down as the nails get driven in, like he sees himself being the one doing the nailing. And at the same time, though, he wouldn't change a thing. That's kind of how this song ends. If he could start all over again, he would, a million miles away, he would do everything he could to keep himself who he is, because he loves who he is, really. He'd find a way to do that. And God rest his soul. Really, like this is a beautiful piece of art. He took a song that was really just full of pain, and it was really a lamentation of just a man personally, on think it's the album from the Nine Inch Nails is called Downward Spiral. So he took this song that was just part of the downward spiral of this of the Nine Inch Nails singer, and he changes it by changing the motivation behind it into like this meditative prayer, a lamentation, reflection on his life, and a giving of, this is my theory, like he's giving Jesus everything he did and he was, and he's saying, I'm sorry, I hurt you, and I did all this stuff because I was hurting. And it's like his entire life just in 3 minutes and 51 seconds. And I when I first saw the video, the music video, like it made me cry. It still makes me emotional, and I can only hope that I die in the same way that Johnny did. With the same attitude. I would be happy to die with that same attitude of just, I don't care anymore about everything I did. This was my life. This is who I am. I'm not going to change it, and I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it all to God, to Jesus. I'm going to give it all to Jesus. I hope I can die that way. I hope that at the end of my life I can still call Jesus my sweetest friend, and I can reflect on what it is that I've become. So I'm geeking out a bit over this. Just a small story that I mentioned earlier that I wanted to share with you about him. Before I was born, Johnny Cash actually came out to where I live, and he played at our local fair. We have concerts. Different celebrities come to our concerts at our local fair, and so he came one year, and my dad he's actually friends with a guy who at the time was one of the black cab drivers. You know, like you call a black cab. They're like taxis, but they're all black and they don't have any taxi logos on them or anything, right? Just these black sedans. And that guy was a driver for the company at the time, and he got hired to come from where I live, drive all the way out to LAX, and he did it. He wasn't told who he was going to be picking up, but he got there to the airport, and he was going to be bringing them back for this concert. He knew it was somebody who was going to be playing at the concert at the fair, and Johnny Cash is the one who who comes out of the airport and his flag, and he was holding a sign, and so he comes to him, and it was like a different name or something like that, so that no one would, people wouldn't crowd him or whatever, and so he helped Johnny, pack his bags in the car and everything. He was really excited. He's like, I can't believe it was like Johnny Cash, the driver, and he said that Johnny Cash asked him if it would be okay for him to sit in the front seat, the passenger seat with him, instead of in the back. He told him that he never liked sitting in the back. He said that he just made him uncomfortable. And so he said, sure, like, why not? So they leave LAX, and it's about like an hour and a half drive from LAX all the way up here. And he said he told my dad that the whole way up, Johnny Cash was asking him, like, hey, so you got a family? You got a wife, any kids? What do you do for a living? Where are you from? What's it like where you live? Just like he was genuinely and sincerely interested in this young driver's life, which is like not something celebrities do. It's not something the rich and the famous do. Number one, they don't want to sit in the front seat next to the driver. They sit in the back because they're being driven. Johnny didn't want to. He didn't want that. He wanted to be there next to him, riding along. And what my dad told me that the driver told my dad. So this is kind of a story that's been passed down here. He said that it's just that Johnny was just such a humble guy. He was just such a humble guy. And he didn't really see himself as being any different than than the average working American. He was just another average working American. I even heard a story that he kept his songs very simple. If you listen to Johnny Cash music, the instrumentation, the music is not complicated. He doesn't do crazy chords. He doesn't do anything really crazy. And at the time, there were a lot of good musicians. He could have learned a thing or two from a bunch of people, but he kept it simple. And I heard, this might be just a rumor, that it's really because the two musicians who played, the one who played the bass and the one who played the drums, they were really good friends of his, and they weren't the best musicians. And he had the ability to, but he didn't. He chose not to write music that was hard for them to play. He just wanted to play music, keep it simple, and keep it easy, and so he could stay with his friends. So then they could go on tour with him and everything, and they wouldn't be embarrassed or something like that. That might be just a rumor, um, but I know that the story from the cab driver is true, um, and it's a crazy thing, and I do love this man. I love this music. This particular song, his version of it is just beautiful. Watch it again on your own without me, and maybe you'll see what I see there, and maybe you'll experience it the same way I did, and I hope it has a deep impact on you, and I hope that it speaks to you in a way. I really do. I think all music should do that. So, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I do a lot of reaction videos. I might do a couple more reviews of other songs I really like and I really want to share. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for your time. See you in the next one. Thanks.